Hello, everybody. My name is Soumya Kalhan. I'm a recent graduate from Fashion Institute of Technology, New York City. I've completed my master's in Experience and Exhibition Design. I'm very excited to present to you my concept, the art and science of going from storytelling to story feeling, the future of experiences. So, we as humans, we don't just remember stories, we remember how they make us feel. We remember the emotions that a story evokes. So, what is story feeling? Basically, story feeling is a communicational method through which you shift the focus from simply telling a story to making the listeners feel it internally. How do you evoke emotions from a story? How do you make a story stick even months after you hear it? So, in today's time, thousands and thousands of brands all have a story to tell. They all have something to say. They all have something they want the visitors to stick by. But what really differentiates a brand from just telling the story to making an audience feel the story? I think that this example that I came across is a great way of explaining story feeling through an exhibit. So this is a traveling exhibition called A Mile in My Shoe by the Empathy Museum. I think they did a great job in helping you truly feel someone else's story and evoke the emotion of empathy. Basically, you go to this experience as a visitor and you pick a shoebox that calls to you. When you pick the shoebox, you will get a pair of headphones and a pair of shoes. You have no idea about what the background of those shoes are, but once you wear the shoes and you put on the headphones and you actually walk a mile in someone's shoes, you actually listen to their story and you are more likely to relate to their story as compared to if you were just hearing a story passively. And just like that, through action, through sensory experiences, through doing something, through tangible objects, a story becomes a story that you feel, a story that stays with you. So from that, I bring to you my project, We're All Noisey. So do you remember the first time you fell in love? Do you remember what that feeling was like? Was it summertime or was it wintertime? Were you eating something? Do you associate a smell with that time? Do you associate an object with the time you first fell in love with? Or perhaps do you remember a song that made you feel like you're in love for the first time? So with that, I bring my concept, We're All Noisey. So this concept came to me when I was sitting one afternoon with my 13-year-old sister, and she was crying and crying about, oh, I got a bad grade on a test. And oh my God, this person doesn't like me, and that friend betrayed me, and my life is so tough right now. And why does it always happen to me? And that was an aha moment for me, that line, why does it always happen to me? And I think a lot of us at some point of time in our lives go through that moment where we think, why is it just happening to me? Why am I alone? Why is all of this my fault? Why am I unfortunate? And I think that is a very, very powerful thing. You see, we're all, as humans, shaped by our experiences, good or bad. We've all been through ups and downs, and my concept celebrates that. So as humans, it's very natural for us to be nosy. And through my exhibit, I want people to tap into their nosy sides and actually look into other people's lives and see that everybody goes through these emotions. Everybody goes through ups and downs in life, and everybody has happy days and sad days, and it's completely human. It's completely all right. So we are all unique because we carry a version of ourselves that was shaped by the moments we didn't always see coming. The first love, the loss, the risk, and the quiet shifts that changed our direction. We are all formed by these emotional turning points, the memories that echo long after the moment is gone, to remind us that the noise and the chaos are both universal. So, my project overview. So we start with my client that was Spotify. I love the aspect of music being a nice tipping point to bring back old memories. And hence, I really wanted to partner with Spotify. Now, Spotify is one of the world's largest streaming platform. It houses songs and stories of thousands of languages, making it relatable across cultures. So when I was telling my mom about this concept, she said, but I fell in love with your dad to a Hindi song. Will this ever be accessible to me? And that was perfect because music is a universal language. I think you can enjoy music no matter in what language you listen to. And Spotify was a perfect client because it houses so many different bilingual music that and stories that helps bridge the gap between different cultures and diverse perspectives. So, Spotify's mission centers on accessibility and emotional resonance, using personalization to make every listener feel seen. With a platform that effortlessly shifts between languages, cultures, and moods, Spotify naturally supports bilingual and multilingual story. Another very interesting aspect of Spotify is that it doesn't just have music, it has podcast and storytelling as well. And it puts the user right at the center of it with personalization. That's why people are more likely to subscribe to Spotify to get their yearly wrapped music, and it's all about them and their tastes. For the audience, this was a little bit tricky because I really wanted something that captures a large audience. And I feel in today's time, people don't really want to pay for services, people want to pay for experiences. So I wanted the new generation, especially the generation that has faced COVID, the generation that suffers from mental health and isolation and loneliness as a pandemic, to really gain from this experience. So I wanted music enthusiasts and experience seekers to be my primary audience, and also to help Spotify gain new Spotify listeners through this experience. So here, basically in my study, I wanted to capture 5 universal firsts. So no matter what part of the world you come from, no matter if you don't speak the same language, I think us as humans in this world experience these firsts everywhere. So first love, first rejection, first betrayal, first best friend, and finally finding yourself. So that was the layout of my experience. And to go with that, I made an emotional arc. It starts with curiosity, which you get at checking in, then excitement that you get at the pre show, vulnerability that you get at first love, hollowness when you face rejection, rage when you face betrayal, reassurance when you have a best friend, belonging when you find yourself, and finally feeling empowered when you leave the space. So for my floor plan, I picked a location in Midtown, New York City. The center is called Lavan. It is a storefront. Basically, I wanted this to be ADA compliant so that people with wheelchairs can access it. And also, I found this to be a great opportunity for people who are visually impaired to be able to use sound as a anchor for them to also be able to enjoy this experience. So as you get in, there's a little welcome center where you do a little pre-check, and you get all of your your account set up, and you can pick up your RFID watches. And then there's a little bit of a pre-show where you can kind of understand the concept and get familiar with the concept of the first universal fives. Then you start with Braveheart, first rejection, the perfect crime, which is the first betrayal, friendship factory, and at the end, finding yourself. Next is the branded experience. So let the journey begin. Step into the hero's journey. So intentionally, the way I designed this project was that every single person who visits this experience is sort of the main character of the journey. It's a story about you. It's a story about finding yourself and listening to the music that reminds you of your past. So as you come in, you stop by and you sign up with your Spotify account. So either you have a pre-existing Spotify account or you make a new account, and you're also given an RFID watch. Now keep in mind the RFID watch because I will mention that at the end of it. So you start with the first exhibition, which is Brave Hearts. This talks about first love. So now, when I was thinking about first love, I wanted to incorporate all the emotional, metaphorical quotes or ideas that you associate with first love. For example, butterflies in the belly, rose-tinted glasses, giving flowers, making promises. I think the infatuation of first love, I wanted to capture that in a room. And as you enter, the first activity that you do is you pull down these little love speakers that are inspired by love locks in Paris or any bridge where couples, lock a lock and then they can write their initials on it. So the visitor can actually pull them down and place them close to their ear, and they will be able to hear a good or a bad first love story of a visitor. Next, there's also a screen engagement where you can sit and you'll be prompted to pick up a headphone and play a song that reminds you of your first love. Now, for me, the song that reminds me of my first love was All of Me by John Legend. And this way you'll kind of be able to immerse yourself a little bit more. And music, like I said, has that ability to bring back memories. So you'll be immersed. Also, you will learn how to use Spotify's interface. Then step three is that you draw an object that reminds you of your first love. And once you're done, you can hit submit and it becomes a part of this gallery wall where everybody has submitted like an object that reminds them of their first love. Last, before you leave the space, there is this little wall where it talks about goodbyes and endings. So I feel like not all first loves do end do stick forever. So in this wall, there are the types of goodbyes that people face. I think some people have trouble facing or saying goodbye. So I made this wall where there are types of goodbyes. For example, the good goodbye, or the explosive goodbye, or the denial goodbye, or the forever goodbye. And what you can do is kind of understand what grief is with each and every single goodbye, how it is human and everybody goes through them. And then you can pick up a ring that is made, that is 3D printed, and you can just drop it. And it also kind of becomes like a really nice way to visually see which goodbye is the most common. Now, when you move on, like on the right, you can see, but what happens when it unfolds like a story. So what happens when you're faced with rejection? Now, this room, I wanted to make the visitor feel right and center of rejection. So rejection feels desaturated, rejection feels cold, rejection feels harsh. So I wanted to use materials like a compressed sand, because you know how they say take it with a pinch of salt or take it with a grain of salt. So I wanted textures and the colors and the lights to feel very like harsh and cold and very emotionless. And then these loudspeaker like installation that have like these legs behind them to kind of um, imitate that rejection always comes very loud. And then you can walk up to one of these, like these speakers, and one can tell you music that reminds you of rejection, and one has a story playing of rejection, and then the other one has scent. Like, for example, you sweat when you face rejection. So this is a perfect example of like submerging yourself in the emotion and remembering your own stories of rejection passively. Now, the next space that we come to is the first betrayal. I know that betrayal can be a little bit of a stronger emotion. People identify rage with this. So, with the perfect betrayal, the perfect crime, sorry, I wanted an activity that is healing. So, people can write a letter to the person who betrayed him, or even write the story of when they first felt betrayed, or how they remember the time that they got betrayed, and put it through the communal shredder. And that way it will be a nice way for them to be able to get rid of some of the emotions. Then at the back side there are these open briefcase. So as you step on to the briefcase kind of opens up and you can see a mini video or a story from Spotify that helps you explain, or that's like a mini script of a massive betrayal. And there are these little keys from 1 to 5, and you can hit how intense you think that betrayal was. So, for example, from Lion King, I think that's like a 5. So I hit a 5, and then you can kind of see what other visitors rated that, how brutal that betrayal was. So as you're walking towards the end and you've embodied the emotions of betrayal, you can interact with the Spotify interface and look up music that you have heard that helps you cope up with betrayal, and play it for everyone else to hear. So this is more of a way to like kind of express yourself in a loud way, in a way that everybody else can also hear you. And also a nice way to kind of, again, interact with the Spotify user interface and submerge yourself in the Spotify world. Next, since we've gone through really, really intense emotions like rejection and betrayal, I wanted people to have a little bit of breathing space before being thrown into a very joyful and a happy environment with First Best Friend. So this is kind of a speakeasy style wait lift lobby where there's a quote that kind of gets you situated, that when trust falls apart, true friends help you stand again. And you can upload a picture of you and your best friend as kids, or something that's meaningful to you on the communal wall, and then you step into the lift and you're transported into the best friend zone. So here, as you walk in, there are these booths where you can stand and take a quiz about your music taste. So, and a prefixed quiz will kind of quiz you on, are you into more techno music? Do you like this genre better? And based on your answers, it will club you with your celebrity best friend whose music taste matches with you the best. And then it will also give you this AI generated Polaroid picture of you and that celebrity best friend to help you kind of have a little takeaway from the event. Next are these karaoke song booths where you can again play music from Spotify and you can jam with your best friend on songs that define the both of you or your friend group. Later, there is this silent disco that highlights the jam feature from Spotify. So people can pick up headphones, and it's kind of a silent disco type concept where you can add a song to the jam list, and everybody else can kind of rock and dance to your music taste, no matter what language you put in. I think it's a very good way to explore new music. Now, an important thing is throughout the exhibition, there are these RFID spots, and whenever you like a song or you find something new, you just hit your RFID watch, and it helps you kind of take note of that song so that you never lose it again. Now you've been through it all, and you begin to realize to the person that you have become. So you've been through love, you've been through rejection, you've been through betrayal, you've found a friend, and finally now you're in a space where you understand who you're becoming. So this is primarily the last space in my exhibit where you kind of ground yourself and you understand the concept that life will throw so much at you, but you just come out stronger and more empowered. And that is the message that Spotify wants to give through this exhibition, that through music you find empowerment. And all the music that you collected with your RFID watch, you can convert it into these small wooden plaques with personalized Spotify barcodes. There's also these little booths that you can stand inside. So it starts with a prompted message, but what happens when you look inwards? And you put your watch on the your RFID watch on the screen, and it gives you like a mini concert of all the songs that you've collected throughout the exhibit. So it's also like a mini concert for you. So your hair is blowing, and it's like a 5D experience, and it's a nice way to kind of tie in the entire experience. Now, for the branding and collaterals, I really wanted to pick my color schemes from the 5 universal first. So the yellow being for best friend, the pink being for love, the blue being for first rejection, green being for betrayal, and the dark blue being for finding yourself. Also, for the fonts, I decided to go with a more storybook-like font because it is going on the principle of this is the story of your life, and you're the main protagonist walking through. Now, for the iconography, I never wanted this space to scream Spotify, where it's loudly branded and there's something that you get out of it, because I think when it's a more subtle branding, the people are more likely to respect and enjoy the experience being not just an advertising gimmick, but something that focuses on them and their learning from the space. And the logo is a nice play on nosy and noisy. Then the key takeaways from me is that story feeling transformed storytelling into an emotional experience, creating deeper audience engagement and lasting memories. Also, that music provide to be a universal language, connecting visitors across cultures, backgrounds, and personal experiences. Through multisensory and participatory design, the exhibition fostered empathy, reflection, and meaningful human connection. And lastly, the project demonstrated how experiential design can use emotions as a design material, making space more meaningful, memorable, and human centered. And that's it from my side. Thank you so much.